Okay, hello everybody and welcome back. I hope you're all doing very well. Today we are going to be drawing a map of Alaska. Very exciting, but before we get going, I want you to drop in the comments any interesting thing you know about Alaska. I feel like Alaska's one of those US states that's got a little bit more interesting sort of things surrounding it than perhaps some of the others. Not at the discredit of any of the others, of course, but I think Alaska's a very interesting state. So, while we get into it, I'll tell you a few of the things that I find most interesting about it. But yeah, also before we get going, I just wanted to quickly let you guys know that in the description of the video, there is a paypal.me link. Now, listen, I understand that people might feel a certain kind of way about, you know, a channel with 700 subscribers sort of advertising this, but as the description sort of tells you, it's basically just a pot to be able to improve the equipment that I use on this channel. I'd love to be able to say that I have enough money to do that myself, but I'm a 4th year university student and yeah, I really don't have much money at all, especially at the moment. So yeah, I would love to be able to improve the equipment that I use on the channel. There's obvious benefits of that, obviously, like, you know, audio quality and video quality, but I think also one thing that I'd really love to do is to be able to improve my setup so that I can be more versatile with the types of videos that I make. I'm sort of limited in a way as to what I can sort of achieve with the tools that I've got at the moment, and I'd love to be able to change that. Obviously, it gives me great pleasure to make better content, but also for you guys, because you've been incredibly supportive, and you know, I just want to give you basically the best I can offer. With that said, I do have a few ideas in mind for future videos that I'm sort of working on and looking into, but yeah, any and all donations are obviously greatly appreciated. It doesn't matter how big it is, you know, it can be a dollar or whatever, but yeah, that will just be a pot basically to, you know, improve my equipment, so to speak. So yeah, thank you for any consideration that you might have towards that, and always thank you for your support on the videos. You know, it's greatly appreciated. I say it a lot, but yeah, it really brings a smile to my face, so thank you. Okay, let's draw a map, shall we? That's what you tuned in for, I think. I hope, anyway. You might be quite disappointed if you haven't. Yeah, this is a very strange shape. Yeah, it's difficult to get the scale of this one correct, I will admit. Okay, I think I want to be more to this side. So, okay, yeah, we're going up to the top here. There's a lot of parts of this map that I'm only really going to be able, in terms of how much time we've got, I'm only really going to be able to denote with a sort of squiggly line like that, but they're very lots of little small tiny islands off the coast of places, especially when we get down to here. It's going to be difficult, but I'm going to try my best, because I wanted to do this one because I find Alaska fascinating in you know, in many ways, but yeah. Okay, so I want to leave a fair amount of space over here. So thankfully, mercifully, we've got a nice straight-ish line that goes down. I'm gonna go to Yeah, I think that's okay. So this is probably one of the trickier parts of the map, and probably one of the trickiest bits of a map that we've ever tried to do, basically. So we're up against Canada here. Okay, so this is one of the areas that I was talking about where we have a lot of little small islands. Now I'm going to do my best to sort of denote where that water is, but for now it's going to look a bit clunky before I can put the water in, but just bear with me for a few moments, and yeah. So yeah guys, as I said at the start of the video, I would really love to hear some of your most interesting things that you know about Alaska. It's always been a place that's fascinated me, and whenever I see YouTube videos of people exploring it, or anything basically where I can learn more about Alaska, I always watch them. Okay, I wanna sort of like a little indent there, similar to the top bit, and then okay. So bear with me with this part. It doesn't look like this, but I don't have the scale to properly show what it looks like, if that makes sense. I hope it does. But I think it will hopefully become apparent when I go to putting the water there. Alright then. Okay, so let's go further east now. East, yeah. Further east, guys. Further west. It's been a long week. I've been job hunting all week, and it's taken a lot out of me. I've spent hours and hours and hours answering scenario questions for retail jobs. It's been pretty painful. Okay. So as I say, it's a very strangely shaped map, this one. So you might have to bear with for a few moments while we get the sort of just very basic outline ironed out. Yeah, we have obviously had some pretty terrible news in the UK about the passing of Queen Elizabeth II. I don't really particularly have too many strong feelings about the royal family. I'm fairly indifferent about them. I know they are a topic of contention among a lot of people, but I'm not really too fussed either way about them. But obviously it's a terrible tragedy when anybody loses a member of their family, so I think it's only right to be respectful in that sense. But yeah, very interesting time to be a Brit, for sure. New Prime Minister and a new monarch, all in the space of a week, a lot of change in the country, so we'll have to see what happens with that. But yeah, as I say, I'm not particularly. I don't feel extremely strongly about either of them. I'm neither a politician nor a historian, so. Or don't claim to be like some people. But I am a guy who draws maps on YouTube, so that must count for something, right? Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay. I want to be here. So yeah, I think you can probably get the idea that this is quite a difficult one. I hope you can anyway. I'd be very, very interested to know if any of you guys have actually been to Alaska. That would be pretty cool if you have. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that would be pretty awesome if you've been to Alaska. I mean, I can't imagine it's a place that too many people go very often. But, yeah. So, comes to a point here. It's called the, I don't know. Is it the, it's the Alaska Peninsula, that's what it's called. Sorry, I was reading a different part. Yeah. Okay, it's called the Alaska Peninsula, which I guess makes sense, because it's a peninsula and we're in Alaska, so. Yeah, riveting stuff as always from myself. Fantastically insightful commentary. Okay. And then we've got like loads, and I mean loads of little islands here. Like loads of little islands. And these keep on going way out here, but I do not have the space. So there's another very thin island off the west here with a place called Adak, and then a place further out into the Pacific Ocean called Attu, and these are known as the Aleutian Islands, Aleutian, so maybe Aleutian Islands. Okay. So, let me... Yeah. Excuse me, apologies. And then we want down here. I think these are two separate islands. Looks to me like they are anyway. Okay. Alright then. I think... Oh no, yeah, Yes, you are. Let me first rectify this. So, actually, let me do the inner parts in the pen. So. So this is all bits of water. Then we got a little bit here. I think that's connected actually there. Okay. So, if you could imagine that parts of this bit are not whole and they are separated into, there's loads of tiny little islands made up in here. But, yeah, hopefully you can use your imagination to an extent. I think there's a little bit of water there actually as well. Okay. So let's do a little bit of ocean shading or colouring, I guess it is more of. Need to make sure we get the water right. I've done a few mishaps with the water recently, so I want to make sure I get it right this time. So we'll wrap around these two islands into here. So yeah, as I mentioned, in reality the complexity of a lot of these coastlines is slightly more so than I've depicted here, but I hope you can understand that we don't really have the scale to sort of denote that, if that makes any sense. So, yeah. And any part of the blue that runs to the edge of the brown line here is obviously is something that runs into the ocean. Okay. So, this is all the way down. All the way down. And around all the way to like here. Okay, you get the idea. All the way around these little islands. I'm gonna go with Aleutian Islands. Or Alertian, maybe it's Alertian, because is it EU? Yes, it's EU, which in French, I don't know why it would be in any way French, but yeah, in French, EU is like an sound. The word for blue is EU instead of UE, and it's bleu, not blue. So maybe it's the Aleutian Islands. If anyone knows, please let me know in the comments the pronunciation. Obviously, I probably should have had a look at it, to be fair. So it's pretty much up to the border is where the water stops on this map. Or is where I'm going to stop it anyway. There is a little bit that runs on the top of Canada. But Canada's not in this map, so shh. Okay. Let's just quickly do a little Canadian border. Comes in here and it goes up here like that. So that is guess we'll do it in green. We have Canada. Canada, okay. So I'm not going to write it on, but this is called St. Lawrence Island, and this is called Nunivak Island. Nunivak Island. Something to that extent. Let's get our red pencil, because strangely the state capital, well, I don't know, I guess maybe not strangely, but the state capital is down here in the very strange, sort of strange geography area. And I'm fairly certain that will be Juneau. Yeah, when it's EAU, tends to be O, so I think it's Juneau. I think the biggest place on this map is actually not the state capital, as does tend to be the case sometimes with these US videos. I think the biggest place is here. It's called Anchorage, and it has one of only 3, it seems, airports in the state. Another fairly big place, it seems, is about here, and that is known as Fairbanks. I have heard of Fairbanks, actually. I hadn't heard of Anchorage or Juneau, but I had heard of Fairbanks. I don't know why. I'm gonna add, there's a place down right here, which has an awesome name, an incredible name, and I really wanted to add it because of its name. Get a load of this. It's called King Salmon. How awesome is that? What an absolutely genius place name. I'm gonna add, because I think I want to get a good spread of places. We have a place right up in the north called Wainwright. There is a beer, or I guess it's an ale in the UK called Wainwright's, and it's disgusting. It's horrible. It's what old men drink. It's what my dad drinks, so yeah, old men. Okay. So yeah, we got some very cool place names here. We've got Holy Cross, Hooper Bay, Circle. There's a place called Circle, Point Hope, that's a good name. But I mean, guys, King Salmon, I mean, come on, it speaks for itself, doesn't it? Okay, we've got sort of halfway between Anchorage and Fairbanks. We've got a few mountains here. We have got a few mountains. Let's do. What do I want to write them in? Red or green or blue? Red, green or blue? Let's do red. So this is 6,194 meters. That is very, very high. Up here, we've got Mount Isto, which is, I mean, by other standards, tall at 2,736 meters, but pales in comparison to Mount McKinley. We've got two just on the border, so one of them's here, and that is Mount St. Elias, which is a great name actually, which stands at an absolutely huge 5,489 meters. And then just a bit further down, about here, we've got Mount Fairweather. I'm not actually sure whether these are technically in Canada or not. You'll have to let me know. But they're on my reference map, so I'm going to put them on here. 4,671 meters. And then, because it's pretty cool, we're going to add down here. This is the Shishaldin volcano. The Shishaldin volcano at 2,857 meters. So yeah, having a volcano there is pretty cool. Up here is known as the Brooks Range, of which I'm assuming Mount Isto is the biggest. And then here this is the Alaska Range. Okay, and then there is technically down here the Aleutian or Aleutian Range, but we don't have enough space. Ocean names. So this up here is the Arctic Ocean, and then down here is the Gulf of Alaska, and then we've got obviously so actually this is the Bering Sea, and then down here is the Pacific Ocean. So one of the things I find fascinating about Alaska is that so close to this point here, just west, is Russia. We always think, obviously because of things like the Cold War, we always think of Russia and America because they haven't had such varying ideals, such opposite ideals, and they've been, at odds and enemies for so long. Just always assume that they're on opposite sides of the world. But I don't know the exact number, but it can't be more than tens of kilometers west of this point here is Russia. It really does bear into this part of the map. So I just found that fascinating how technically this well, it is the US. Of course it is. It's one of the 50. Oh God, is it 52? One of the US states. Maybe it's 50. But yeah, this is the USA, and Russia's about here, literally about there. I just always found that fascinating. Okay, finally we're gonna add the tides. So what colour shall we do the tides in? I want an Alaskan colour, but I don't really know what that would be. Maybe like a light blue, because it's cold. Strange logic, I know. You'll have to bear with my sort of strangely operating brain. Alaska. There we have it. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. It's a fairly well populated map. Just going to check that we have everything. We got the Gulf of Alaska, Pacific Ocean, the Bering Sea, Arctic Ocean. Actually, I suppose I can technically just one more. It's getting quite long, this video. This is the Chukchi Sea. The Chukchi Sea. Anyway, so we've got all of these surrounding bodies of water. We have Canada here. We've got Fairbanks. We've got... Actually, sorry. I think it's from here. Darker. There we go. I think someone would probably have my head on a platter if I didn't include this. Wait, I'm rightfully so, to be fair. Oh, there we go. It's the Yukon River, which I had actually heard of. So, yeah. Right then, well, I am pretty darn happy with that. I think that's one of our better ones. I hope you've enjoyed. As I said at the start, please drop down anything that you find interesting about Alaska, any fun facts that you know about the state. I'd be very interested to hear what you have to say. Thank you as ever for your support. I love you guys so much. I really hope you've enjoyed. If you stuck with it for this long, you're a hero. Thank you, I love you. And I will hopefully see you in the next video. So goodbye guys, and good night.